We are there.
Hello, everybody. I always give it about half of a minute because I think it takes a little bit for it to kick in. But if you are live, good evening, everybody. We have Mike with us and Gary. And before we start, I do have to say, I mentioned this to you tonight. I had a little gift sent through to me the other day, you know, those gift things on Facebook or whatever. And there was this poor guy with 6 kittens trying to line his kittens up to take a photograph. And every time he stood back, of course the kitten's gone. You try lining up 6 kittens to take a photo, it's impossible. And you wouldn't have seen the last 20 minutes per year. Trying to organise what we're going to say, and they're off with it. Over here, over there. Mikey's down there looking at something. Anyway, Mikey and Gary, how are you?
Great, yeah.
Nice to see you both.
Nice to be here.
Good, excellent. Right then. Dusty, good evening, guys. Kit looks great. Donna look great, doesn't it? And that is smashing now. The reason we've set this one up, this is the Pearl Masters Maple Complete. Really, really pretty kit. Fair play. But the reason we're doing this is Pearl had a little chat with me and they said, you know, what about putting this rack in place as like a showcase thing? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm waiting for some extra parts. So it's totally hybrid then. You've got the 2-box, the pads, all the different bits. So during the holidays and that, I can create some nice videos about pros and cons of a rack, you know? Because I tell you what, it's great. If you want to reduce the weight of your hardware case, just take all the tops of your stands, isn't it? You haven't got all the bottoms, none of them. They're all gone. Great. I like them. I like racks. They're nice. So there you go.
Yeah, I like them too.
There you go. Right then, let's learn a little bit about yourselves now then. Because there's a reason, especially for Mikey to come down, but for both of them, but we're going to talk about a few things, a little bit of hardship that you had in you and how music and this place helped a little bit, and friendships and so on. So they're mates for how long do you say?
34 years.
But he's for 34 years. And you both worked in industry?
Yeah.
So some of the companies?
Henley Forklift and then Lindy. It was the same company, just taken over by German company.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But you worked with Jaguars, didn't you?
I worked for Technical later on.
There you are.
So Jaguars all systems.
So again, both professional in your trades, as it were. Now, you both have a love for this as well, don't you?
Yep.
So how old did you say you were, Gar, when you started playing?
Started playing at 13.
There you are. So it was about, what, 20 years ago?
I'm 75 now.
Are you? Oh, I thought you were going to say you were 35 then.
It's a few years old.
75, 13.
Yeah.
And Mikey?
I started playing when I was 11.
11, look at that.
Both with the same teacher.
Yeah, that's how you ended up getting to realise, isn't it? You said?
Yeah, we met in work, but we didn't realise it at an early age. We'd gone to the same drum teachers. We just didn't know that at the time.
And who was that then?
It was Dennis Evans.
A guy called Dennis Evans.
Yeah.
Who is an absolutely superb drummer.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Excellent. Really good. So obviously you've known each other a long time. And your area, where you're from? Let the folk know where you're
from.
I'm from Musselman.
Right. And anybody outside of Wales will not have the foggiest now, will they?
No.
So,
wouldn't be able to pronounce it.
Or spell it.
Yeah, we'll let you look that up on Google. Okay, good. So, love of drums, obviously. You played a lot of clubs then, didn't you? South Wales clubs?
Played everywhere.
Yeah.
When I was 13.
Yeah.
I didn't have a drum kit. Joined the band who asked me to join them. They had a drum kit, but no way to practice at all, other than with the band. Yeah. So there was no playing in the house or anything like that.
You get out, you learn on the stage, and you sweat.
And that's what I see in the modern day, this age. If you come to Lee's shop, you were very lucky that you can have a teacher or teachers, and you can also have a room which you can go into and play to your heart's content without disturbing anybody. Yeah. And that's got to be a big plus for anybody that's either starting to play the drums or actually playing the drums.
Yeah. We did want that. Get the rooms in, let people just have access to them and the way to go. Yeah. So we worked at that, and that was part of the reason. And the shyness. I hated going in shops, in a drum shop. I'd go and play in front of anybody with the band I was with and all the rest, not a problem. But I hated to walk into a drum shop then and someone says, oh, do you want to try this or that? I wouldn't try it in front of people. Yeah. It's funny that. And I know so many drummers like that. Yeah. And I decided to go down this route. So I can say if you're interested in a particular thing, we can just take it into the room and they can sit in there privately if people are coming in and out and have time to think. So good. Little shout out on about which Gary Phillips, who's been teaching with us since the very beginning. So what happened was Gary was going to a shop for something to do with some fancy dress, I think to do with his, because he used to play pantos and different stuff, and his car was being MOT'd and he passed me and I was literally just at the start. I might have had about 4 tambourines and a few odds and sods there. And he came in, so I asked him, what does he do? Does he teach? And so on. And so he started teaching all the way back, it's about 7 years ago now. And we've slowly but surely grown, and he's still here, still puts up with me as well.
That's really interesting, because I never knew the relationship between the two of you.
Oh, I just literally walked past in the old building that we had.
Yeah.
Walked past, saw the sign, came in, half a dozen bits there.
Yeah. And another asset to the shop.
So I said, do you want to look at teaching? It's something I want to do. It's important to me. And yeah, he's been here ever since. He has about 20 odd students now on the go a week, you know.
Excellent.
And we've got more inquiries for the new year. So just picking back up, you know, and see how we go with that now. So now if you're trying to say hello, sometimes my tablet allows me to see them and sometimes it doesn't allow me to see any comments at all. So I do apologize, but that's life, isn't it? Technology, guys, technology. So that's that one. So I was going to mention as well, in the old Philippines, I mentioned to you both, for some reason, our videos are popular in the Philippines, and they've just had another massive natural disaster over there. So it seems mad, because I have no idea who's watching us from the Philippines. But if you are, obviously, our heart goes out to you as a country and to people, because that is a big thing, and it's really hard. Yeah, really hard. So, yeah, and we thank you for that. And there's a Kenny Kendrick, whose family at the moment, his daughter is very unwell, and he's put it on Facebook, etc. So from Cariad, like, all the very best to you and your family. So it's hard to go through. And it's part of the reason for saying that is Mike went through a hard time in life, and we're going to discuss that in 5, isn't it? Yeah, sure. Before we do, we are going to discuss about you seeing a few people, because you like, or used to like, to go to clinics, didn't you? Yeah. And to shows. So name 1 or 2 people who you've seen play.
Pre-pandemic, we used to go to watch clinics in the local area. St. J.R. Robinson, Steve Smith, Gary Husband, quite a few others as well.
Yeah, I've got by Greg Bissonette, is it?
Yeah, Greg Bissonette, yeah. Don Femerella.
Yeah, there you are, because you said you liked him, didn't you?
Yeah, he's excellent.
Smiley.
Excellent drummer.
Always smiling.
Good motivator as well, good motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I remember going to see Joe Morello in the YMCA building, dead opposite the central station in Cardiff, which isn't there anymore, which has became Castle Centre, it was then, it? Castle Centre, and a car park now. But I can remember as a kid going to see there. And also going to see Buddy Rich, going to Ronnie Scott's to see him at the start of the tour, saw him in the provincials, wherever, sometimes Bristol, Cardiff, wherever, and then going back to Ronnie Scott's at the last to see him at the end of the tour. And he never, all the years I saw him, never ceased to amaze me. Lots of better drummers around today, I suppose, all the technologies that we got. But this guy is a guy that can swing a band. And you see lots of people who are great drummers, but to swing a band is something else.
It's all about the music. I keep saying that to every student. We get this to sound.
To see J.R. Robinson live was brilliant, because the number of songs he's been on, the most recorded drummer. It was excellent. Great night, you know.
If you play for the music, you've done your job, and you just get that moving. Excellent, really good. Right then, we have got Tom. Tom has started to help us at Cariad. So, hiya Tom, he says, hiya guys, and Mike Lewis, hello from Newbury in Berkshire. Wow, not the Philippines, but enjoying the interview. There you are. Look at that. We've got, see, we are getting further out. It's in foreign lands, like England, you know? Excellent. So yeah, you mentioned Buddy Rich. I find that really, really good. And that's part of the reason why we wanted the boys to come along, because you have seen what many people class as the greats. You've seen them anew and you've been there, I said, a number of times. And Joe Morello, lovely. I would love to have, but
Really
wasn't in a position.
independent coordination, the master of it all, really.
British group as well.
Yeah.
It's a story of Dave Brubeck, the band that Joe Morello was with. I don't know if you know, why did they go into odd time signatures? It's because Dave Brubeck was a pianist, jazz, and of course at the time that he was around and playing the jazz piano, it was all about speed. So everybody sort of competing with each other, jazz pianist, a little up and down like mad. And he loved surfing, and he went surfing, and he had an accident surfing, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. And they brought him back, he was in a coma, etc., etc. And when he came back out of that, he went back to the piano, he couldn't play with any speed at all. He was stumped. So he said, how can I now go and play in the jazz scene where they're all flying, and I can't? So he came up with odd time signatures.
I never knew that. No.
Take 5. So then Joe Morel come along, and then they did all of that, and they become, wow, look at this. And that's what the story is.
Yeah, I
So you learn something new every day at
never knew
Cariad. Cariad drums.
The classic, isn't it?
You know my famous Buddy Rich story that I told you before about my
Go on.
disabled mate?
Yeah, yes, please, yeah.
I had a severely disabled mate who was about this tall, with calipers, and his sister had the exact same condition. But at about the age of about 11, when he found that he could play the drums, and he had tremendous speed, and he was a tremendous drummer. His father had a special drum kit, sizes made smaller for him to play. And he was a fantastic character. Nothing stopped him. He went through all school, right through ordinary schools. Nothing deterred him at all. But when he was dying, and he was in Landock Hospital, and Buddy Rich was coming to Barry Memorial Hall, we got in touch with his agent, because he was Buddy Rich fanatic. There is no other word for him. And he came on lots of the trips that I went to see Buddy Rich. But when he was dying, we got in touch with the Buddy Rich agency in this country and asked, would it be at all possible for him to visit, and his name was Maxwell Jones, the guy, my mate, and we didn't hear anything for a while, and lo and behold, we had a telephone call saying, yes, he would do it. He didn't want any publicity, and what he would do on the day that he was in Barry, playing in the Memorial Hall, he would visit Landock Hospital. Wow. But he didn't want no fuss, no. He didn't want anybody to know, and he went in and he saw him, and he brought a number of goodies for Maxwell, he was lucid, but obviously very, very ill. And I'm not quite sure whether it was the day after or a few days after Maxwell died. But I'm pretty sure when he was on his way to heaven, his heart was bumping because his complete idol had come to see him. And that's a special thing for me, and I'll never forget it.
Nice, so kind, don't it?
Kind, and didn't want, an highly paid musician. At one time, he was the highest paid musician in the world. And he comes to see somebody just incredible.
And I tell you what's fascinating with that is you think of Buddy Rich, with America and so on. His daughter is a singer as well on Facebook, Kathy Rich. You see, and then they have the foundation, don't they, etc. So you tend to think all the stories are that side of the pond, don't you?
That's right.
And that's just down the road from where we are, those stories are happening.
Yeah.
So I may even send a little message to Kathy and say, look, there's a little story about your dad. You may never, ever have realised that happened.
He was a character, Max, wasn't he?
He was a real character, and a great drummer. That's, he was severely disabled. But when he got behind a set of drums, he was the business. And
music is a gift, fantastic gift. Right then, guys, so we're going to have a little chat about Mike and the fact that Mike, you were working with you, and the pressure, very methodical and very conscientious with your work, and the pressure was on, and you
There
was
was a lot of pressure in work at one point, and long hours, and it meant that the work overtook me a little bit. And I took a break from work. And I found then Gary was coming down here, and he said, "You want to get down here?" So
but he hadn't seen you for a bit.
He has
He
seen me for a
spoke to
couple of
your
weeks.
wife, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he hadn't spoke to me personally for a while. Met up with Sue, and Sue said that he was sort of under the weather. So he said he come up to see me at the house, and said, "You're going to get a Cariad because some nice practice rooms down there." So I started coming down here 2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
and I enjoy every minute coming down here. It's been a real good therapy, and it's been real good to get my head around the music again. I've given up from it for a while, but now I'm practicing again and getting back into it. So it's really good.
See, there's a saying that a friend is someone who is there when either things are tough or there's a disaster, when there's a real need. And you bumped into Mike's wife.
We don't live in each other's pockets and that, but we are good friends.
But the other side, I knew that coming down here, because I knew you for quite a while, and I knew you were a top guy. I knew you would be compassionate, and you would be understanding, and I knew that would be a great help to Mike. It would be a great help, and as I explained to him about coming down here, about in the booths and whatever, and you can go in and you can get on with it yourself. So I knew, and although I brought him down here, I think you were the guy that brought the best out of him. So, I thank you very much for that.
Well,
yeah, it's been really good.
I didn't plan that.
No, it's been really good. To be fair.
The way I look at it, you give credit to people if they deserve the credit, and some people are embarrassed by accepting that sometimes. But I'm the sort of guy, if somebody's done something good, I'm more than happy about
to a
it.
friend, yeah.
And
that's what we want.
And we become friends. I become friends with you. Yeah. You become friends with Mike. We have a laugh, whatever. And
it's like lining the kittens up again.
The other thing I can say, if there are people out there, and if you suffer from lots of things, we saw Lee with the guy who had dyslexia. There must be lots of people out there with little things going wrong with it. Come down to Lee's, come down. If you've never ever played the drums ever in your life, if you might have a little link, then come down, because Lee is the boy that will help you, whatever is wrong with him.
We'll sort it. Except for if you're skint, because I ain't got anybody to give.
The facility is good, the equipment's good, and you can isolate yourself you can play music that you like, which for me is varied. Yeah. And I really enjoy locking myself away. And
we enjoy Mike being here because he shuts off and he puts his own private music on. But as you said, the songs are so varied. I can be leave the spray, it can be in the workshop and it carries through. And you're Joan Armour trading, and there's somebody else or something, and you think, oh right, yeah, because it's locked away. However, there's a little bit which is quite comical. In the beginning, you sort of come down together, didn't you? So Gary would go in a room and do a bit of drumming, and Mike would go in the room and do a bit of drumming. But why don't you come down with Mike anymore?
There's a story behind that, because Mike likes to stay 5, 6, 7 hours sometimes. Me, 3/4 of an hour is my limit. I'm finished. So we've had to part company.
Because you'd be wandering around the shop for 4 hours, wouldn't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Mike is gone. Yeah. So we've never known anybody to marathon as much as Mike. In fairness, he goes in and he shuts the door. He don't come out at all. The music goes on. He's got his drink, and we don't hear, or we just hear the drums. And then 6 hours later, he will appear and go, "I enjoyed that."
It's no chore if you're enjoying it.
Exactly.
And if you're doing different styles of music, it makes it more varied and more interesting to play.
Yeah. And just to explain that without being too personal, but when you worked hard all your life and when you had your blip, if you like, Gary explained you bumped into Mike's wife, so what did she express to you, remember?
She was worried.
Yeah.
She was worried.
And where was he for 3 weeks?
Pardon?
You mentioned he was in bed like for 3 weeks, wasn't it? He was really not.
Well, it was a quiet time for me then. I needed to chill out and take a break. And yeah, coming down here then was just a real benefit for me.
Now, we was having Jan, the doctor, as well tonight, but he's got caught up in Cardiff, so he can't come down, because we wanted to discuss again about how doing things physically, either walking dog or doing something, music, to help you if you're going through a hard time, how it can really benefit. Now, we're not saying, because we mentioned this together, didn't we, if somebody needs to be on medication from advice from the doctor, that is that. However, you had antidepressants, but they didn't agree with you, did they?
No, not at all.
And yet, doing music
was great.
was a really important factor. Yeah. So I think if you can find that balance, but sometimes I think when we're very low and we're depressed at the time, we might think that an antidepressant solves the problem. We struggle to do anything physical then, don't we? It's a real vicious circle. But if we can push that a little bit, music, you can get lost in music for a while. And there's nothing wrong with having a good day, is there? When you feel...
The music is good because it is a physical thing you've got to do anyway.
Yeah.
It gets your mind going, coordination, different time signatures. Because I like different styles of music as well, so I'm not fixed in one genre of music at all. It's not just rock or blues or jazz or anything like that. I like quite a cross-section of music. Yeah. So it's quite nice when you play different styles and that, so it keeps you thinking, and it's really nice to play.
Good. I was talking to a customer earlier mentioning this was happening tonight, and he said, and this is what, now, naturally we've all gone through difficulties. I've had my difficulties with tragedy in family, and so on, and I know that the customer's in the same position as me, I know that, but we lost our little girl who had cancer at 11, so we were in Landmark Hospital, 18 months. My wife would do all through the day, she would sleep over in, they called it the bungalow, but it was a ward for the parents. I'd go to work, turn up at the hospital, evening with my wife and little Jessie, and then I'd sleep on a bunk bed by the side of the bed. And she was severely ill and love her, 18 months, but she didn't make it. We lost her, and she was 11. But it was that thing of, you feel guilty for having a good afternoon or a good day because the mind plays havoc with you, doesn't it? And sort of doing anything meant, well, I feel guilty now because I enjoy doing that. Or I remember saying to my wife, we have to learn to laugh again. That's how bad things were. So I think you mentioned about, this good down here. I think when you have issues in life that affect you deeply, then you have compassion sometimes when you're with other people and say, well, look, whatever little thing we can do for one another is a good thing. And me doing this, I still suffer. This is 20 years later, and I still suffer guilt. But yet, I love it here, and I love what I do, I love my family, but you still go through these things. So the point being, I was saying to a customer, it isn't wrong when we're going through a tough time to spend an afternoon somewhere and to take that and enjoy that day. That is something you need, because the brain needs to be rested from sometimes our own anxieties, isn't it?
The nice thing with music is it isn't just physical, it's an emotional thing as well. So it's great to play and you get a real buzz out of it. It's great.
It's good. You need to give your brain things that are... Music is a gift, and you need to do that. It's therapy, and it's good therapy.
I don't apply to me because I play like sounding nail in the shed together.
No, you don't. Mike, actually, Gary is actually really good. You can do the swirls, can't you, Gar? I always said one day we need to do a demo for us because he's good at doing the sticky twirls, stick tricks. So, but look, we really appreciate that you were willing to talk about that. We want this channel, we want these discussions to always be positive, but the things we have discussing, there are so many customers again that open up here. This is that actually, even Jan, the doctor, and a few have said that in the teaching room when we're doing the lessons, we should put a couch in there because everybody just comes in and unloads and gets rid of the stress of the day, and then we play music on top, and it's got that sort of a feel, and it's really lovely to do. It's a privilege.
It's a pleasant place to come.
Yeah.
It is a pleasant place to come. And the people and your customers, everybody sort of mucks in.
Well,
it's old-fashioned like that, isn't it?
Well, the people that come and go, and you had Mark Palladino the other day, and I had never met him before, but he's a great character to talk
Yeah.
to.
And he can cook
And,
pasta.
and he liked this down in his restaurant as well, which is great. So it's really looking forward to that.
No, it's really good. So I appreciate the fact that you're willing to express that. I did the same with Roy, with his difficulties with dyslexia. And he said, no, look, this is fine. And I'm trying to do it in a positive way that if you, as you mentioned, Gary, look, if there are things, try music. This, I think, is the percussion and drumming. Percussion they've proven it with groups. Percussion in the group, they have proven, is a serious antidepressant.
Yeah.
It's the oldest instrument. From cavemen days, hitting bits of logs with sticks. It's the oldest instrument you've got.
You're talking about Blackwood again now, are you? But they haven't proven it as a single instrument in studies, but they've proven it as group therapy.
Yeah.
However, I know that when the cans go on and you play, there's something about being in what we call in the pocket, isn't it? There's something about that rhythm that just makes you have five. There's a place where you just sit there and you think, oh, this is good.
And no matter what sort of level you are as a player,
You can do that.
long as you are enjoying it, that is the mainstay of everything. As long as you are enjoying it. So you don't have to be Buddy Rich or Joe Morello or whoever. As long as you are enjoying it at your level, you smack on.
Play
The one thing I find is if you talk to any of the top drummers and the ones we've met in clinics and that, the one thing they're never judgmental, and no matter what level you're playing at, they're so welcoming, so enthusiastic, and sharing any enthusiasm that they have for the drums. And they just
That's what you want.
free
It's
giving
about
information.
people, how they connect. Again, always say about, I don't want to make this about Cariad, but I always say to everybody that walks in when they are absolute beginners, if you look at a drum kit and feel like I do about it, then you're home. Get in here and let's get playing, because I don't care about level. What I care about is people say, I love music, always wanted to play drums and never had that chance. Come on in, let's get cracking. So a couple of hellos. We got Welshie. Wish Mike all the best. Hope he sticks to it. Excuse the pun. Music helped me a lot in school, being dyslexic. This is Dave. And drums was the only thing I truly understood. Keep it up, Mike. And he's saying he's sitting there with a cuppa enjoying it. Owen Paul, wow, what a great story. Amazing. Loving it. So there we are, guys. You've done really good. Because we were a little nervous for me.
We were a little nervous.
You two were a little nervous because, this is live. And I was nervous because I was lining the kittens up and you wouldn't behave yourselves. So 5 minutes before we going on, and I'm going, right, what are we going to discuss? And Mike's going, God, I've seen this guy. And he's showing drum chops. And I'm going, yeah, but I got to ask these questions. So anyway, really good. I genuinely appreciate both your support. You're always supportive on our Facebook, etc. And you always come down. Same with Gary. But I think because we were the little babies on the block, I was really nervous about opening up drum shop and not playing for so long. I mean, what am I going to do? You open up a drum shop and you haven't played for 15 years. Then you're like, uh-oh. But it was folk like yourself, like coming down and just going, this is great. And with everything you've seen, saying, this is great, Lee, you crack on. That then lifts the spirit. So we bounce off each other.
I know you're doing the right thing, I know you're doing the right thing. I know the setup is correct. Where else can you go with this setup? Setup you haven't got anywhere else in South Wales. You have not got it anywhere else. No. So, people out there, you're interested in the drums.
I can admit, take you on as a sales rep. You know that, don't you? Innit?
I said to you, I think when we first met, I'm the sort of person, if it's right, I'm loyal.
Yeah.
I'm loyal. I don't want to go to Joe. I might even get it cheaper, perhaps, down the road or whatever. That doesn't interest me. What interests me is coming to a place that I can enjoy, that is pleasant, the people are pleasant. They're not saying, do you want to buy this? I can come down here and I can have all day and walk out with nothing. Mm-hmm. But I get the same response from it. Yeah. Whether I just bought a brand new drum kit.
You never walk up with nothing.
No, I know I never walk up with anything.
It's come down now, you bought a stand. Yeah, only a little,
That was
little
supposed to be a
tick.
Christmas present.
Hang on.
Drop me in it now.
We'll wind that back. There you are, it's gone. Anyway, right, guys, thank you very much. Keep going. And I do love Gary's stories. Fair play. You know, that's really, really good.
Lots of them.
I know. I lost some of it.
Could come down. So next week, live stream with Gary. Wow. The swap seats. So yeah, come down and enjoy, guys. And if you're not local to us, you know, look around, see what's out there. There are other facilities about, I'm sure, and just look around and if not, get a little electric kit and play at home.
Drumming scene in this community as well. So.
Yeah. Do well. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Great stories, and
Yeah.
we'll have you down again. Go now and show your wives. Can't you? Look.
I can't. You let the cat out of the bag.
Oh.
That was a present.
Oh, no, I mean this.
I mean this, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going
They should in
now.
the drum stand.
I'm going before I shoot myself anymore. You should have told me that earlier. Goodbye, folks. Thanks,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang on. I'll chop the end of that off.